Cooking for one on Thanksgiving isn't sad or settling. It's choosing yourself, and you're worth way more than a frozen dinner. We're doing all the trads. The turkey, stuffing, mashed taters and gravy, corn, and pumpkin pie for less than $20. This channel is all about cooking for one and reducing food waste. So I'll be showing you what to do with the leftovers too. I was going to have a really cool montage here of going to Walmart and getting everything, but my dumbass went ahead and recorded that in vertical, not horizontal. Here's the proof of that mishap. Yeah, but here's what we got and what it cost. Our onion, 54 cents. Potato, 62 cents. Carrots for the stuffing, 117. Frozen corn, 98 cents. You can also get the can for 50 cents. Our celery, 197. Our can of pumpkin, 115. The bread for our stuffing, 147. And lastly, our turkey breast tenderloin at 11.96. All totaled, $19.33. Considering the fact that a lot of this, the celery, the carrots, half of the bread, a lot of the pumpkin is going to go to other things, that makes it even less for the meal itself. We're starting with our pie crust first because we're adults and a dessert can come first. Actually, it's because the dough needs to chill. But hey, if you want to eat the pie first, I'm not going to judge. You can make this crust 1 to 2 days in advance. You can even make the pie the day before if you want to break this down into sections for yourself. So, half cup of flour, tablespoon of sugar, 8 teaspoons of salt, and 3 tablespoons cubed ice cold butter. You can totally use 1 tablespoon of shortening in place of one of those tablespoons of butter if you'd like. As a professional baker, I'm not big on shortening. I don't like the flavor or the texture of it. Now you can use your hand, a fork, or a pastry cutter for this part. You just want to get that butter mixed in there really well until you have nice small little pea-sized granules. Just like that. All nice and broken up and all that flour and butter mixed together. Now we have some ice water, and we're just going to add 2 or 3 teaspoons. Let's start with 2 and get that mixed up. Everything's sticking together all nice. Now we're going to go ahead and form it into a disc. Now we're going to take our little disc, pop it in the middle of some plastic wrap, fold that up, and pop it in the fridge for 30 minutes at minimum, up to 3-4 days. Now we're going to work on the bread for our stuffing. I'm just going to take half this loaf. The other half will become a turkey sandwich with leftovers. Now I'm going to get this cut up into little cubes. Always use the back of your knife to push, never the blade, because then you're dulling your knife. Gonna go ahead and get these into our bowl. You'll see I'm using the same bowl I did for the pie crust because who wants to be doing a sink full of dishes on Thanksgiving? Give these a quick spritz of olive oil. Turn them over, another quick spritz. Traditionally for Thanksgiving, everyone uses rosemary and thyme. Cooking is an art, and the nice thing about art is once you know the rules, you can break. So I'm going with about a half tablespoon of oregano, a couple teaspoons of basil, and about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then, of course, some salt and pepper. This is your stuffing, do it your way. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it into this pan and into a 350 oven for about 15 minutes just to get nice and toasted. Next up are the bits and bobs for our stuffing. I'm taking half an onion, 4 of these little carrots. The rest of these are going to be going into smoothie, pasta sauce, 1 stalk of celery. The rest of this I'll be using to snack in tuna. And both of these are going into an upcoming leftover turkey pot pie. The secret to onion and no tears is a good sharp knife. And you can use your knife as a bench scraper to get things into your bowl. Now for our carrots. And lastly, our celery. Now just going to set that aside until it's their turn to get cooked. And how's that for timing? Our breadcrumbs are done. Beautifully golden and crunchy. They're going to make an amazing stuffing. Set those aside to cool. Next up is a compound butter for our turkey. Normally this would go underneath the skin of a turkey breast or a full bird. Because we're doing a tenderloin, we'll be making slits in the bird to put this into. I've been letting 3 tablespoons of butter come to room temperature. I'm gonna go ahead and get this into our little bowl here. I'm adding about a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of basil, and the same with oregano. And then using a spoon, we're just gonna mash that up really well and get it all mixed. We're gonna start by lining our pan with foil for less mess. There we go. Alrighty, get this guy opened up and into our pan. There we go. Now, because the tenderloin doesn't have the skin on it, I'm going to be taking a knife and making slits in it at a diagonal so that butter can seep in there and help keep it nice and juicy in the oven. Just like that. Just little diagonals, not going all the way through, just about halfway. Then we're going to go ahead and take that butter and get it all slattered on there and rubbed in. I already dropped the temp of the oven to 325 when I brought the breadcrumbs out. So now the turkey is going to go in for 50 to 60 minutes over on one side. Now onto our pie. Got our chilled dough, a little bit of flour to the cutting board. If you don't have a roller, don't worry about it. Quick trick, you can take a canned good, wrap it in plastic wrap and use it to roll it out. We're rolling this out to fit a 5-inch pan. You can also use a ramekin for this. Beautiful. Go ahead and trim off that excess. I personally love taking the excess, flattening it out into like a little cookie, and throwing it in the oven for about 10 minutes. Just a little snack. Nothing goes to waste. Now I'm taking a little knife here. I'm going to poke a bunch of holes on the bottom and around the edge to help with shrinkage. Now to a bowl, we're going to go ahead and add 1/3 cup of our pumpkin. The rest of this I'll be using in a pasta sauce, a smoothie, and maybe pumpkin muffins, pumpkin pancakes. It'll definitely be a video, so if you haven't smacked that follow button and ding that bell yet, please do so you don't miss anything. We're adding 2 tablespoons sugar, a half teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon ginger, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a dash of allspice with a little pinch of salt. If you have, you can also add just 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice along with the sugar and salt. 1 lightly beaten egg, and 1 tablespoon of milk. Then get that all mixed up and then into our pie pan. I always use spatula so I get every last drop. Now this will go in the same oven for 40 to 45 minutes. Melt another tablespoon of butter. To this we're adding our stuffing veggies. Just want to get these softened up a little bit. We're adding a half clove of garlic. Now we're going to add that to our breadcrumbs and get that stirred through. And then 1 cup of chicken broth. Gonna get this covered. And then into that same oven for 30 minutes. Look at that, looking so good in there. And now onto the mashed potato. I'm only using half of this. The other half, I'm putting face down on plastic wrap and wrapping up super tight. It'll stay in the fridge 2 days without browning. Now go ahead and get this one diced up to go in that pot of boiling water. The smaller the cubes, the quicker the cooked. Now that our water's blue, go ahead and get those potatoes in there. Those should only take about 5 to 10 minutes. In this part, we're going to go ahead and melt 2 more tablespoons of butter for our brown butter corn. You gotta watch the butter real close on this because the difference between browned and burnt is a quick second. So it's getting all nice and frothy and starting to turn color. It gets a nice nutty flavor to it. So to that butter real fast, we're gonna add our other half garlic clove and get about a cup of corn in there. The rest of this is gonna go into that pot pie. And get this all nice and stirred and just get it warmed through. And there's our corn. Set that aside. Check on our potatoes. Almost. They're softer to go into, but they're not breaking apart yet with the fork, so they're not quite ready. See how they're breaking underneath that fork? That's when you know they're ready to be drained and mashed. Another tablespoon of butter. Start getting that mashed in with those. You can use a fork for this as well. Then just a spot of milk. And get that all stirred up. And mashed potatoes for 1. Check on our oven again. Knife's pretty darn clean. I do believe our pie is done. Look at that gorgeous crust. Let's go ahead and cool our turkey next. At this point, we go ahead and we uncover our stuffing and give it about 5 more minutes. Corn, pie, potatoes, and turkey are all done. Just waiting on the stuffing to finish up. So while the turkey is resting for about 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and make that gravy. Starting with 1 tablespoon of butter. Get that melted. 2, we're adding 1 tablespoon of flour to make our roux. Get that all nice and smooth. Then about a 1/2 cup chicken broth. Another good reason for the foil on your pan for your turkey is you can easily just pour those drippings right in. All nice and thick and smooth. Let's go ahead and get this plated. First our turkey. Look how juicy that is. Just glistens. And then of course our corn. That mashed potato. Our stuffing. Always my favorite part of the meal. And that little divot here for that gravy. And there we have it. Thanksgiving for one. And of course, that pie for dessert. So there we have it. An entire Thanksgiving meal for one from scratch for under $20. But how did it come out? Let's find out. That turkey is so moist. And all those spices made it through. And our brown butter corn. Still has a little bit of snap to it. Wonderfully nutty with just that little tiny hint of garlic on it. The potatoes. The drippings in that gravy always bring it to life. Now my favorite part. I have such a weakness for stuffing. And then, of course, the pie. I don't care that it's only the beginning of November. This has me ready and ready to go. You showed up for yourself today, and that's what counts. There's more to come. I'll be doing sides, desserts, and, of course, that pot pie with the leftovers. So if you haven't smacked that follow button yet and ding that bell, go ahead and do that so you don't miss out on anything. If you're cooking for one this year, you're not alone in being alone. We're out here and we're eating well. All the recipes are on my website and they're linked in the description below. Cook for one, waste none, and be savvy. Choosing yourself, and you're worth way more than a frozen dip. The other half I'll use for... And both of these are going to be oops, good God.